everyone, my name is Tori Bissell and I'm the Director of Training at Plan to Protect. Before we really dive into our course, I just wanted to say thank you. Thank you so much for taking this course. It truly demonstrates your dedication and commitment to protecting the vulnerable sector. At Plan to Protect, we applaud your diligence. Plan to Protect provides the highest standard of abuse prevention and protection to organizations serving the vulnerable sector. And we do this by training and equipping you with the tools, resources, policies, training, and support that you need to create a safe environment in your organizations. Plan to Protect initially started over 20 years ago in a church community in Canada, but has since expanded to include organizations, charities and faith communities, schools, daycares, women's shelters, food banks, busing companies, refugee sponsorship programs, community programs, child and youth serving organizations, retirement homes, sporting leagues, municipalities, and more. Most of our clients are in Canada and the United States, but you can also find Plan to Protect in South American countries like Bolivia, European countries like Belgium and the UK, African countries like Ghana and Kenya, Asian countries like Cambodia, and more. We're excited to see organizations globally committed to protecting children, youth, and vulnerable adults, and we are excited that you are here. You are making a difference, you are making an impact, so thank you. As we begin our Admin Leader Certification course, I thought it would be a good idea to cover some of the basics and give you an overview of the course. The first thing you'll notice is that the course has been split into multiple modules. Each module includes some readings, a video presentation, and an assignment. Throughout the course, we've also included downloads or links to documents or resources that you'll need. You'll also notice we included multiple forum questions throughout the course. This way you can participate in discussions and even ask any questions that you may have. As we begin, I'd like to share with you a quick story which I think really highlights the purpose and the heart behind this course. This is Dave. Dave was a little boy for his age, and he grew up in California with his mom, dad, and brothers. His mom was an amazing cook, and his family was full of energy, and they had lots of fun together. They visited the Golden Gate Bridge, and they went camping, and his life seemed pretty perfect. That is, until everything changed. Dave's story is actually the story of California's worst case of child abuse in history. At 4 years of age, his name changed, and no one called him Dave anymore. He was now called It. He was severely neglected and physically and emotionally abused by his alcoholic and mentally disturbed mother. While his father was away, his mother began treating him terribly, taking her frustrations out on him. The abuse was so horrible, I hesitate to share it. But just to give you a small glimpse into Dave's life, he was forced to live in the basement, eat out of garbage bins, forced to drink cleaning chemicals, was burned on the gas oven, and eventually stabbed. People saw things but did nothing. His dad became a passive observer. His dad, also an alcoholic, saw what was happening but was too afraid of Dave's mom to do anything about it. He eventually left, leaving Dave behind. Doctors saw bruises, burn marks, and stab marks, and they didn't do anything. Dave even tried to run away and tell a police officer, but he was sent back home. Dave tried to tell people. Finally, a teacher, a nurse, a principal, and a police officer spoke up for Dave, and he was rescued at the age of 12. When I first heard this story, I felt horrified. My heart broke to think that any children could go through what Dave had to go through. I was completely devastated to think that there were children who would go about their lives being treated so horribly and no one would see what was happening to them. I had worked as a teacher, as a tutor, as an assistant children's pastor, as a day camp director, as a camp director, and so many kids had come in and out of my life. And I wondered, was it possible that a child like Dave had come in and out of my life and I had missed it? I had missed the signs or I had ignored the signs. And I wondered, how could all of the teachers in his life not see it? How could all of the neighbors and the people near him not notice what was going on in front of them? And I realized something, that sometimes as teachers, as volunteers, as staff members, we are so busy with our lives. We're busy with our own programs. We're busy with our lesson plans. We're busy with our own kids and the things going on in our life, that sometimes all of that busyness gets in the way of seeing what is actually right in front of us. And if we actually did see it, would we know what to do? I went to school to be a certified teacher. And in my whole entire 5-year degree, I received 1 hour of training on abuse prevention and what is abuse. But some people were sick that day. So that meant that I graduated as a certified teacher, as a professional who's in this amazing role to speak up on behalf of children like Dave, but I don't know what to do. I don't even know what abuse is or how to report abuse or even how to help children like Dave. So even if the busyness wasn't getting in the way, would I even know what to do? Think about yourself and your volunteers and staff. Do they know what to do? Do they know how to protect the children, youth, and vulnerable adults in their care? Do they know how to prevent abuse? Without really strong policies and procedures in place, will we know what we're doing? Without really strong screening and training, will we know that we're putting the right people in positions of trust? Will our volunteers and staff know what to do if abuse happens or how to prevent abuse? In this Administrator Leader course, we're going to talk about how to administer, implement, and maintain a strong abuse prevention program. We're going to talk about Plan to Protect 101 and reporting and response and policies and how to customize this for your organization. We're going to talk about recruitment and screening. And yes, all of those things are important, but what's more important is the heart behind all of those things. When I talk about Plan to Protect, I do it because of children like Dave. I do it because there are children, youth, and vulnerable adults out there who are being hurt or who are in need of protection and they need someone to speak up for them. And I do it because I want to prevent things like that from happening in the first place. So keep that in mind as we're talking about Plan to Protect. It's not just about policies and procedures of what we should be doing in our organization, but it's about doing the highest standard of abuse prevention and vulnerable sector protection. Let's do everything we can to create safe environments for children, youth, and vulnerable adults. Let's do everything we can to prevent abuse from happening, and let's do everything we can to make sure that another child or individual like Dave doesn't come in and out of our care and we miss the signs or ignore what's right in front of us. Jane Goodall once said, "What you do makes a difference, and you have to decide what kind of difference you want to make." As we continue with the course, let's keep those words in mind. What we do makes a difference, and we can decide what kind of difference we want to make. We can be the change that we wish to see in the world, and we can make an impact. You can do this, and we're here to help. Let's do it together.